The sun was shining brightly in the clear blue sky. The ocean waves moved gently, making a peaceful sound. Dean, Milton, and Austin were excited. They had planned this fishing trip for weeks. Their small boat, only 16 feet long, moved smoothly over the water. The three friends laughed and talked as they headed toward a special fishing spot near the rock caves. "I hope we catch a big fish today," said Austin, holding his fishing rod. "Yes, maybe a giant snapper," Milton added with a smile. Dean, the oldest of the three, steered the boat carefully. "Just wait. This place is the best for fishing." The salty breeze touched their faces. Everything felt perfect. But they had no idea that something very big was about to happen. Something they would never forget. The boat glided smoothly toward the fishing spot. The water was calm, and the sun reflected off the gentle waves, making them sparkle like tiny diamonds. Milton was preparing his fishing line, Austin was humming a tune, and Dean kept his hands steady on the wheel. Everything was peaceful. Suddenly, the calm ocean erupted. With a loud splash, a massive shape shot out of the water like a rocket. Before anyone could react, the creature came crashing down, right onto their boat. Bam! The entire boat shook violently. Dean lost his grip on the wheel, stumbling backward. Milton, who had been adjusting his bait, fell onto the deck with a yelp. Austin, holding his fishing rod, dropped it in shock. "What was that?" Milton shouted, scrambling to his feet. The three men looked in disbelief at what lay before them. A gigantic dolphin, at least 900 pounds, sprawled across their small boat. Its smooth grey body glistened in the sunlight. The dolphin's powerful tail thrashed wildly, knocking over a tackle box and sending fishing gear flying in all directions. "Is this real?" Austin gasped, his heart racing. The dolphin was in distress. It flapped its fins helplessly, its large, dark eyes filled with confusion. Every time it struggled, the boat rocked dangerously from side to side. Water splashed over the edges, soaking the men's shoes. "We have to do something," Dean said, grabbing onto the side of the boat to keep his balance. But how could they possibly move a 900-pound dolphin? The boat was in chaos. The massive dolphin kept thrashing, its strong tail smacking against the wooden deck. Every movement sent another jolt through the small boat, making it sway dangerously. Austin, still shocked, tried to step back. But just as he moved, the dolphin's slippery tail swung around and struck his arm. "Ah!" he cried out, clutching his arm in pain. Milton rushed to him. "Are you okay?" Austin winced. "I think it's just bruised." His arm was sore, but he could still move it. That was a relief. Dean, gripping the boat's edge, looked at the enormous dolphin. Its body rose and fell as it tried to breathe. The poor creature was panicking, and the boat wasn't big enough to handle its weight. "We can't move it by ourselves," Dean said, shaking his head. "We need help." Milton grabbed his phone, his hands still trembling. He quickly dialed the local Marine Rescue Center. "Hello? We have a problem. A huge dolphin jumped onto our boat. It's stuck, and we can't get it back in the water." The voice on the other end was calm but serious. "Stay where you are. Keep the dolphin wet and don't let it hurt itself. We're sending a team right away." Dean nodded. "Milton, find the hose." Milton rushed to the side of the boat and grabbed a small water hose used for cleaning fish. He turned it on, and cool seawater flowed over the dolphin's smooth skin. Austin, despite his aching arm, grabbed a bucket and helped splash more water onto the dolphin. The dolphin's frantic movements slowed a little as the water soothed its body. "Hang in there, buddy," Dean murmured to the dolphin. The minutes felt like hours as they waited. Would the rescue team arrive in time? The sound of an approaching boat cut through the tense air. Dean, Milton, and Austin turned their heads and saw a larger vessel speeding toward them. The Marine rescue team had arrived. A woman in a bright orange vest stood at the front of the boat, waving. "Are you the fisherman with the dolphin?" she called out. "Yes." "He's still alive, but he's heavy, and we can't move him," Milton shouted back. All right, stay calm. We have a plan, the woman replied. We'll guide you to the nearest boat ramp. Can you steer your boat? Dean nodded. I think so. The weight makes it hard, but I'll manage. Good. Head toward the shore slowly. We'll follow you. Dean gripped the wheel and carefully turned the boat toward land. The engine strained under the extra weight, but the boat moved forward. Austin and Milton kept splashing water on the Dolphin, making sure its skin stayed wet. After a long and careful journey, they finally reached the boat ramp. Several rescue workers were already waiting, ready to help. One of them, a tall man with a radio, stepped forward. All right, let's get him back where he belongs, he said. The team worked quickly. They laid down a large wet tarp on the ramp and carefully slid the Dolphin onto it. The animal made a few weak movements, but didn't fight. He's exhausted, one of the workers said, checking the Dolphin's breathing. But he looks strong. The men grabbed the edges of the tarp and slowly pulled the Dolphin toward the shallow water. As soon as his body touched the waves, the Dolphin gave a small twitch, feeling the familiar ocean around him. Almost there, buddy, Austin said, ignoring the pain in his arm. Finally, with one last push, the Dolphin slipped off the tarp and into the sea. For a moment he stayed still, floating in the water. Then, with a strong flick of his tail, he swam forward, deeper into the ocean. Everyone held their breath, watching. Would he be okay? Then, just a few meters away, the Dolphin leaped out of the water, spinning in the air before splashing back down. The rescue team cheered. He's saying thank you, Milton said with a smile. One of the workers laughed. We call him Tohu. He's been spotted around this area before. He's a young male, full of energy. Well, he sure gave us an adventure today, Dean said, shaking his head. The fishermen stood on the shore, watching as Tohu swam away, disappearing into the endless blue. The next morning, the three fishermen sat by the dock, sipping hot coffee and watching the waves. The sun was just rising, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. The ocean, which had been the scene of so much chaos the day before, now looked peaceful again. Dean stretched his arms and let out a deep sigh. I still can't believe that happened, he said, shaking his head. A 900-pound dolphin jumping onto our boat. That's a once-in-a-lifetime story. Austin rubbed his arm, which was still a bit sore. Yeah, and we were lucky. If the boat had been any smaller, things could have ended badly. Milton chuckled. Imagine explaining this to someone who wasn't there. Oh, we went fishing, and a dolphin landed on us. No one would believe it. Dean looked over at their boat, now resting safely in the harbor. The scratches and dents from the dolphin's struggle were still visible. He stared at it for a moment, then suddenly smiled. You know what, he said. We should give the boat a new name. Milton raised an eyebrow. A new name? Dean nodded. Yeah, this boat just survived something crazy. It deserves a name that means something. He paused, then said, Let's call it Tohu. Austin grinned. After the dolphin. Exactly, Dean said. That way we'll never forget this day. And every time we go out to sea, we'll remember how lucky we were and how amazing nature can be. Milton and Austin exchanged looks, then nodded in agreement. Tohu it is, Milton said. Austin raised his coffee cup. Tohu. Dean and Milton lifted theirs as well. As they clinked their cups together, a wave crashed gently against the dock. Out in the distance, a dark shape moved through the water, before disappearing under the waves. Maybe it was just their imagination. Or maybe, somewhere out there, Tohu was saying goodbye.